Yeah, hello students. Good morning, all of you. Once again, a warm welcome to the mobile computing online session. Today, lecture number 3 in unit number 3. So, as usual, before going to start this session, just we recall what we completed in the past two sessions. So, in the session number 1, it is here in the lecture number 1, unit number 3, we discussed about a need for mobile IP. What is the need for mobile IP? And what is mobility and nomadicity? And what are the design goals of mobile IP? What are the requirements like compatibility, transparency, scalability, and efficiency and security? These are the requirements of mobile IP. What are the different requirements of mobile IP? And different terminal words we discussed: mobile node, correspondent node, home network, foreign agent, correspondent, care of address. Uh, there is a care of address. There are two categories: foreign agent care of address and co-located care of address. And home agent. So this is the basic diagrammatical representation of data packet transmission that we covered there in the lecture number 1. And coming to the lecture number 2, here we discussed about IP packet delivery. How an IP packet is delivered from one station to the another station. Here the sender is called it as the correspondent node and the receiver is the mobile node. Here the sender may be either wired or wireless host, but the receiver may be a wireless one. So how a data packet is transmitted from correspondent node to the mobile node that we discussed. So from correspondent node to mobile node, data packet has to be transmitted in this manner. There are three steps to the mobile node, and from the mobile node to the correspondent, there is a single step representation that we covered in the video number 2, lecture number 2. So to the mobile node, three steps, and from the mobile node in single step representation. Okay, and communicate with the remote host. A mobile host goes through three phases. We also covered these three phases: agent discovery, registration, and data transfer. Here in the agent discovery, it is again two categories: how an agent is how a mobile node is discovered. That will be done in two ways. That is agent advertisement and agent solicitation. And coming to the registration, there are also two ways are there for the agent. After the discovery of the agent, then agent registration is started. So after the agent registration, so these are the two ways: from mobile node to foreign agent to the home agent. In this way, registration is done. So registration request and registration reply. Thereafter, the data transfer is done. So how a data transfer is done? That means how a packet is transmitted from correspondent node to the mobile node. That means from sender to the receiver or from the source to the destination. How an IP packet is delivered. For that purpose, an important topic here we discussing in today's class. That is tunneling and encapsulation. So here in the tunneling and encapsulation, which are the terms used for the data packet transmission from one location to the another location. That means from sender to the receiver or from source to the destination. So what is meant by tunnel? A tunnel establishes a virtual pipe for data packets between a tunnel entry and a tunnel endpoints. So it establishes a virtual pipe for data packets. So here, what is the main reason here? So we have to transmit a data packet from one location to the another location. Here, tunnel establishes a virtual pipe for data packets between a tunnel entry and a tunnel endpoints. So packets entering a tunnel are forwarded inside the tunnel and leave the tunnel unchanged. So uh, in what way it entered to the tunnel after the completion of traveling, there is no change in the data packets. So that is the work done by the tunnel, and tunneling, that is sending a packet through a tunnel, is achieved by using encapsulation. So how a data packet is transmitted? So that is done by using encapsulation. So sending a packet through a tunnel is achieved by using encapsulation. So a tunnel establishes a virtual pipe for data packets between a tunnel entry and endpoints. So the data which entered to the tunnel came out with the unchanged in the unchanged manner. So here sending a packet through a tunnel is achieved by using encapsulation. So what is meant by encapsulation? So encapsulation is a mechanism of taking a packet consisting of packet header and data and putting it into the data packet of a data part of a new packet. So generally, I think you guys are discussed about encapsulation and decapsulation techniques there in cryptography manner. How a ciphertext and plain text is converted, like in this, like in that way. Here also, encapsulation and decapsulation is done for the data packets. So how it is encapsulated and how it is decapsulated. At the sender point of view, sender is encapsulated the data before transmitting in a tunnel. So after receiving that packet, the receiver decapsulated that packet to read out the data. So encapsulation is the mechanism of taking a packet consisting of packet header and data and putting it into the data part of a new packet. The reverse operation, taking a packet out of the data part of another packet, that is called decapsulation. So that is the difference between the encapsulation and the decapsulation, sir. Okay, and next, encapsulation and decapsulation are the operations typically performed when a packet is transferred from a higher protocol layer to a lower layer, or from a lower to a higher layer respectively. For example, if a data packet is transmitted from one layer to the another layer, in generally we go know about the layered architecture from physical layer to the application layer. Data packet is transmitted from the physical layer to the application layer of one system to the physical layer of application layer of another system generally. So whenever the packet is transmitted from one layer to the another layer, automatically these encapsulation and decapsulation operations are performed when a packet is transferred from a higher protocol layer to a lower, or a lower protocol layer to a higher respectively. So there are different encapsulation techniques are there. There are the three categories of encapsulation techniques. The first one is IP encapsulation technique, and second one is the minimal encapsulation technique, and the third one is generic encapsulation technique. So encapsulation is the very most important concept here in the unit number 3 of mobile computing. Why? Because how a data packet is transmitted from source to the destination, how the packet formation is done. So in generally, how a data packet is transmitted from one location to the another location, from one station to the another station, that we covered there in the lecture number 2 in IP packet delivery, from correspondent node to the mobile node. From correspondent node to the mobile node, data is traveled via a home agent and a foreign agent. Again, from mobile node to the correspondent, it is directly transmitted via a foreign agent. And that is care of address there in the foreign agent. So FA. So packet is transmitted from source to the destination, but what is the format of a packet? So first a packet is encapsulated, then after it is decapsulated. So how an encapsulation is done? So packet is encapsulated and traveled via a tunnel and reach it to the destination. There in the destination part, the receiver receives the packet and they decapsulated the packet. So how a packet is encapsulated, how the data is framing in a packet. So encapsulation is done in three ways. That is IP in IP encapsulation. Second one is minimal encapsulation, and the third one is generic encapsulation. Yeah, first one coming to the IP in IP encapsulation. There are different ways of performing the encapsulation needed for the tunnel between home agent and the care of address. There are the different ways. But the mandatory for the mobile IP is in IP encapsulation as specified in RFC 2003. So there are different ways of performing the encapsulation. So already we discussed encapsulation is done in IP in IP way or minimal way in generic way. But that we observe here. So encapsulation needed for the tunnel between home agent and the care of address. But the mandatory for mobile IP is IP in IP encapsulation as specified in RFC 2003. So this figure represents a packet shows a packet inside the tunnel. Have a packet inside the tunnel. So these are the IP in IP. So is the first IP, old IP header. This is the new IP header. This is a 32-bit representation. 32-bit representation, old IP header and new IP header. What is an old IP header? Consisting of payload, IP payload. That is example TCP segments always belong to the IP payload. Destination address, that is home address. Destination address. So just you remember the IP packet delivery, then you can easily identify these encapsulation techniques. So in your mind you can recall the IP packet delivery, correspondent node to the home agent to the foreign agent to the mobile node. So destination address, that is home address, source address, that is original sender, and along with the time to live and protocols and header checksums and fragment offset, different flags and identifications and version for IP version 4 and IHL and type of service and total length and this is the old IP header. So an IP in IP. So a new IP header consisting of destination address, that is care of address. That means a mobile node is moving from one location to the another location automatically. The new locations are called it as the care of addresses for the mobile node that we discussed there in the IP packet delivery. So the destination address, that is care of address, and source address, home agent address, and header checksum, protocol for time to live, identification, flags, fragment offset, total length, type of service, and unhl and version 4. This IP in IP encapsulation. This is the old IP header and new IP header. So a IP packet consisting of another header. So unshared fields are copied from the inner IP header to the outer IP header. So unshared fields are copied from the inner IP header to the outer IP header. So this is the diagrammatical representation of IP in IP encapsulation. And now so the version field, version 4, for IP version 4, the internet header length 1HL denotes the length of the outer header in 32-bit words. So 32-bit words. So DS is just copied from the inner header, and the length field covers the complete encapsulated packet. So the field up to TTL have no special meaning for mobile IP and are set according to RFC 791 up to TTL time to live. TTL means time to live. Up to time to live, there is they have no special meaning for mobile IP and are set according to RFC 791. But TTL must be high enough so the packet can reach the tunnel endpoint. The next field here denotes with IP in IP is the type of the protocol used in the IP payload. So here is the IP payload. So up to TTL there is no change. From thereafter, so IP in IP is encapsulated. Next step. So this field is set to 4, the protocol type for IPv4 because again an IPv4 packet follows after this outer header. So inner header also follows the IPv4 and outer header also follows the IPv4 and IP checksum is calculated as usual. And the next field are the tunnel entry as a source address and the tunnel exit point as a destination address. Tunnel entry at the source address, that is HA, and tunnel exit point is the COA, care of address. We discussed here. Inside a tunnel unchanged. In the next field are the tunnel entry as so source address and destination address, source address HA and destination address COA. If no option follows the outer header, the inner header starts with the same fields as above. So there is no option for outer header. Automatically inner header has to follow the same. Source address is the HA and destination address is the COA. This header remains almost unchanged during encapsulation, the showing the original sender correspondent node and the receiver mobile node of the packet. So the only change is TTL, which is decremented by 1. So from inner header to the outer head, there is only one change, that is TTL, which is the time to live, which is decremented by 1. This means that the whole tunnel is considering a single hop from the original packet from the original packet's point of view. This is a very important feature of tunneling, as it allows the mobile node to behave as if it is were attached to the home network. So in generally, home network is there at the correspondent node. Correspondent nodes wants to transmit the data packet to the mobile node. First, it sends to the home network. Though it checks first if it is available. Then after, if it is available, it connects it. If it is not available in the home agent, then it moves to the foreign agent that we discussed there in the IP packet delivery. So it is a very important feature of tunneling, as it allows the mobile node to behave as if it were attached to the home network. So no matter how many real hops the packet has to take in the tunnel, it is just one hop away from the mobile node. Finally, the payload follows the two headers. That is IP in IP encapsulation. How an IP packet is the header added to the another header. So this is the old IP header. This one is a new IP header. Here from the changing is started from time to live. So source address, destination address, source address and the destination address all are follows the version 4. And next one is the minimal encapsulation. So the minimal encapsulation, that is RFC 2004, as shown below in the optional encapsulation method for is an optional encapsulation method for mobile IP. So in the earlier part of video we discussed a mobile IP must need the IP in IP encapsulation, but a minimal encapsulation is also the optional for mobile IP, which avoids repetition of identical fields in IP encapsulation. So if you observe this in IP encapsulation, some of the fields are repeated, that is 1HL, total length, flags, fragment offset. So protocols. So TTL is different because TTL is decreased here in old IP header to the new IP header. But coming to the minimal encapsulation, so the repetition of identical fields in IP encapsulation is avoids in minimal encapsulation. So the tunnel entry point and end point are specified. The field for the type of the following header contains the value 55 for the minimal encapsulation protocol. This is the minimal encapsulation technique IP packet. So a packet consisting of 32 bits. So as usual, same payload, either TCP or UDP payload, original sender IP address and IP address of mobile node. Original sender IP address and IP address of mobile node. So IP checksum, and it is reserved S bits and layer 4 protocols, and care of address and IP address of home agent, IP checksum and minimal encapsulation. There you observe here, that is type of service is IP in IP. Here minimal encapsulation and TTL and fragment offset, flags, IP header, version and 1HL DS and as well as length. So it is similar to the IP in IP, but here repetition is not there in this encapsulation technique. So the inner header is different for minimal encapsulation. The type of the following protocol and the address of the MN are needed here. If the S bit is set, the original sender address of the CN is included as omitting the source is quite often not an option. So no field for fragmentation offset is left in the inner header, and minimal encapsulation does not work with already fragmented packets. That is the minimal. This one is very simple. So the inner header is different for minimal encapsulation. The type of the following protocols are used in the MN are needed. If the SBIT is set, the original sender. What is SBIT? SBIT is the original sender IP address. Original sender IP address. Who is the original sender? Correspondent node. So who wants to transmit the data packet? He is the original sender. So original sender IP address is S. So if SBT is set, the original sender's address of the CN is included as omitting the source is quite often it's not an option. So automatically sender address is what placed there in the packet, 32-bit packet. So no field for fragmentation offset is left in the inner header, and minimal encapsulation does not work with already fragmented packets. If the packet is already fragmented, so minimal encapsulation does not work. There you have to use IP and IP. And next one is the generic routing encapsulation. So unlike IP in IP and minimal encapsulation, which work only for IP packets. So IP in IP, either IP in IP or minimal, both are works only for IP packet. But generic routing encapsulation allows the encapsulation of packets of one protocol suite into the payload portion of a packet of another protocol suite, as shown in the below figure. One protocol suite to the another protocol. So this one, original header, original data, original header, original data. Here the new data. So this one is the GRE header, this is the outer header and the new header. So generic routing encapsulation allows the encapsulation of packets of one protocol suite into the payload portion of packet of another protocol. Like this. This is the payload suite. IP address of mobile node, IP address of correspondent node, as usual, IP checksum, layer 4, TTL, IP identification, flags, fragment offset length, TOS, these are all common. Here the routing is the optional. Routing is the optional one, this is the payload. So sequence number, optional, and key, optional, and checksum, optional, and offset is also the optional, and this is also common again, protocol, version, RSV, REC, and these are the bits, fields, and the care of address, COA, IP address, HA, and these are also the common things. TTL, GRE, IP checksum, fragment offset length, flags, TOS, 1HL, these are all common things. So that's why generic routing encapsulation allows the encapsulation of packets of one protocol suite into the payload portion of a packet of another protocol suite. So the packet of one protocol suite with the original packet header and data is taken, and a new GRE header is pre-ended. So together this forms the new data part of the new packet. Finally the header of the second protocol suite is put in front of the older one. So together this form the new data part of the new packet. Finally the header of the second protocol suite is put in front. So the following figure, following figure shows the field of the packet inside the channel between HA and COA using GRE as an encapsulated scheme according to RFC 1701. The outer header is the standard IP header, which a home agent as source address and care of address as destination address. The protocol type used in this outer IP. So header is 47 for GRE. So the GRE header starts with several flags indicating if certain fields are present or not. A minimal GRE header uses only 4 bytes, but the C bit indicates if the checksum field is present, it contains valid information. If C is set, the checksum field contains a valid IP checksum of the GRE header and the payload. The R bit indicates if the offset and routing fields are present and contain valid information. The offset represents the offset in bytes for the first source routing entry. The routing field is present, it has a variable length and contains fields for source routing, and GRE also offers a key field which may be used for authentication. If the field is present, the K bit is set. Otherwise the sequence number bit is S indicates if the sequence number field is present. If the S bit is a set, strict source routing is used. So the recursion control field, REC, recursion control field, this one, REC, recursion control field or EC is an important field that additionally distinguishes GRE from IP in IP and minimal encapsulation. This field represents a counter that shows the number of allowed recursive encapsulations. The default value this field should be 0, thus allowing only one level of encapsulation. The following reserved fields must be 0 and are ignored on reception. The version field contains 0 for the GRE version. The following 2-byte protocol field represents the protocol of the packet following the GRE header. This one is the GRE header. So the standard header of the original packet follows with the source address of the correspondent node and the destination address of the mobile node. The standard header of the original packet follows with the source address of correspondent node and the destination address of the mobile node. The field C indicates again if the checksum is present. The next 5 bits are set to 0. Then 7 reserved bits follow. The version field contains the value 0. The protocol type again defines the protocol of the payload following RFC 3232. If the flag C is set, then checksum. The field and the field called reserved that follows the letter field is constant 0 set as 0 follows. So C field types recursion. This one is generic routing algorithm. So one protocol suite. So changing from one protocol suite to another protocol for that purpose, generic routing encapsulation is using to reduce the avoid the repetition of identical fields in IP. Minimal encapsulation is used, and minimal encapsulation technique is the technique which is using in IP packet mandatory for mobile IP. Encapsulation technique is IP in IP encapsulation technique. So all these are similar in every encapsulation techniques. Total length, type of service, 1HL, versions, identifications, flag or fragment offset, header checksum, protocols, time to TTL. So all these are different. All these are same, but the difference is done here in the addresses. Here the destination address, source address, destination address, source address, and as well as like here care of address and IP address of HA. And next here in the generic routing algorithm, so care of address and IP address of HA. So these three are the encapsulation techniques which are used in the sender area to transmit the data packet. So if an IP packet has to be transmitted from correspondent node to mobile node via a tunnel, at the starting point of the tunnel, the sender wants to encapsulate the data packet either by using IP in IP or minimal or generic. After it reaches to the destination, there the decapsulation is done. In every layer, generally encapsulation and decapsulation techniques are applied for the data packet. The next one is the optimization. This is also the one of the important concepts there in unit number 3, optimization techniques. If a scenario occurs where if the mobile node is in the same subnetwork as the node to which it communicating the home agent is on the other side of the world, it is called a triangular routing problem, as it causes that means if correspondent node wants to communicating with mobile node. So at the time of data packet delivery, that is there in one particular location. After the delivering the data packet, it changes its care of address from one location to the another location. This is called triangular routing problem. So to avoid these problems, these optimization techniques are using. So if a scenario occurs where if the mobile node is in the same subnetwork as the node to which it is communicating the home agent, it is on the other side of the world, it is called triangular routing problem, as it is causes unnecessary overheads for the network between correspondent node and the home agent. So a solution to this problem is to inform the correspondent node of the current location of the mobile node. So what is the solution for this problem? To inform the correspondent node of the current location of mobile node, that is care of address, current location. So the correspondent node can learn the location by catching it in a binding catch, which is a part of the routing table for the correspondent node. So home agent informs the correspondent node of the location. It needs 4 additional messages. So those are binding request, binding update, binding acknowledgement, and binding warning. So why we have to be using these 4 messages is binding request, binding update, binding acknowledgement, and binding warning. So correspondent node wants to know about the mobile node. So mobile node changes its care of address from one location to the another location. In this situation, correspondent node wants information of mobile node via the home agent and foreign agent. So home agent here, home agent informs the correspondent node of the location. It needs 4 additional messages. If it has to communicating the current status of the mobile node to the correspondent node, home agent wants to inform the current location of mobile node to the correspondent node. It needs 4 additional messages. Those are binding request, binding update, binding acknowledgement, and binding warning. So here in the binding request, it is sent by the node that wants to know the current location of the mobile node to the home agent. So home agent checks if it is allowed to reveal the location and then sends back a binding update. So binding update, it is sent by the home agent to the correspondent node revealing the current location of the mobile node. It contains the fixed IP address of the mobile node and the care of address. This message can request an acknowledgement. So binding acknowledgement. If requested, a node returns this acknowledgement after receiving a binding update message and binding warning. A node sends a binding warning if it is decapsulated a packet for a mobile node. But it is not the current foreign agent of this mobile node. It contains mobile node's home address and a target node's address. The receipt can be at the home agent. So the home agent now sends a binding update to the node that obviously has a wrong care of address for the mobile node. So if you observe this diagram, an inefficient behavior of non-optimized mobile IP is called triangular routing. The triangle is made of the 3 segments: correspondent node, home agent to care of address, and mobile node back to correspondent node. Mobile host to home agent to remote host to home agent to mobile host, and mobile host to remote host. So this is the handshake representation of correspondent node to mobile node. So first correspondent node to home agent to foreign agent. Which foreign agent? Old foreign agent. Old foreign agent means in some time the mobile node stays there in this foreign agent. After some time it moves to another location, that is a new foreign agent. That is care of address. Old foreign agent means old care of address, new FA means new care of address. So what happened here? So a packet is transmitted. Then binding request. So cell processing branch, hand of request, acknowledgement, notification, agent advertisement, registration request, binding update, and registration request, registration reply, and binding acknowledgement, and packet transmission, and retunneling, and binding warning, binding update, and packet. So whenever a packet is transmitted, a binding registration request is sent. That is agent advertisement registration. After the agent advertisement, identification of agent, a registration. So that we discussed there in the past video. First, what happened? An agent advertisement is done. So that means agent advertisement is used for agent discovery. So after the discovery of agent, so agent registration is done. Registration is done in 3 ways, in 2 ways. That is from home agent to foreign agent. So it sends request, update, reply, and binding. So the correspondent node can request the current location from the HA. If allowed by the mobile node, the home agent returns the care of address of the mobile node via an update message. The correspondent node acknowledges this update message and stores the mobility binding. Now the correspondent node can send its data directly to the current foreign agent FA world. So FA world forwards the packets to the mobile node. This scenario shows as a care of address located at the foreign agent. Encapsulation of data for tunneling to the care of address is now done by the correspondent node, not the home agent. So here it will be done by the correspondent node, not by the home agent. So correspondent node wants to communicate with mobile node. So first it has to know its care of address. So there is a possibility of changing in the care of address. That's why old FA and new FA. Old FA is the old care of address. New FA is the new care of address. Correspondent node wants to communicating with the mobile. This line is the mobile node. Correspondent node wants to communicating with the mobile node. That means it has to transmit a packet to the mobile node. So what happened here is first it has to be identify the care of address of new care of address of mobile node. Then only it transmits the data packet. That work is done by the HA. So registration request reply, and if identifies the address, then only it transmits the data packet. So the mobile node might now change its location and register with a new foreign agent FA new. This registration is also forwarded to the home agent to update its location database. So automatically it changes from one location to the another location. It updates in the database. So furthermore, FA new informs FA old about the new registration of mobile node. So mobile node registration message contains the address of FA old for this purpose. So the passing this information is achieved via an update message which is acknowledged by FA old. So without the information provided by the new FA, the old FA would not get to know anything about the new location of MN. In this case, correspondent node does not know anything about the new location. So it still tunnels its packet for mobile node to the old FA. So FA old. So it doesn't know about the new address of mobile node. So that's why it sends packet to old FA. That means, for example, if you want to send a letter to your friend, so the care of address of your friend is Vijayawada, but he changed it from Vijayawada to Rajamandri. You doesn't know about the new address. That's why if you send the letter to old care of address, automatically there the old care that is the work. FA old sends that particular letter to the FA new care of address. So this FA now notice packets with destination MN, but also knows the it is not the current FA of MN. So this forwarding of packets is another optimization of the basic and mobile IP, providing smooth handovers and a reverse tunneling. So we have to discuss these topics in coming lecture. How a packet is transmitted and how reverse tunneling is done.